I have been in public service, most of it involved in public finance for over 4 decades. Let me share with you, I've never been as scared as now about the world. What is happening in Europe, looking at back what our experience was in 1980, the crisis we had, and the crisis we had in 1990s. This is a very big issue. First of all, I agree entirely with Christine that nobody is immune. We are all connected with each other. Look at the speed of spread of contagion. When we dealt with the Asian financial crisis in the late 1990s, we were dealt largely in an Asian issue. It was very much we left to ourselves, and we overcame it. But it never spread to other areas. Now it's very different. In 2008, Ireland suddenly stopped introducing a way in which to protect the bank savings. Almost 2 days afterwards, the whole world followed suit, including Hong Kong. In other words, we are very much, after 10 years after the Asian financial crisis, much more interconnected than before. Okay, in the case of bank exposure, in the case of Hong Kong, we're hardly exposed to the European debt, sovereign debt issue. We've checked all our banks, we've done stress tests, seems all right. But what about the counterparties? What about the banks they deal with in Europe? What about their own clients who will be in serious trouble? In other words, we do not know how deep this hole would be when the whole thing implodes on us. So looking at America now, I do not see a radical solution emerging before the presidential election. So 2012 is a critical year. Each one of us has to look at ourselves and what we can do. Most important is protect the people of ourselves and protect the people of the neighbor. How we're able to secure the jobs, how we're able to go through life this year. Then I'm going back to our experience elsewhere. Maybe it's not relevant to the rest of the world, but I can share with you some of the things we have found. First of all, in the Asian financial crisis, we stopped the fire. We did something rather extraordinary at that time. I went into the stock market, I bought some shares. It was merely condemned and castigated by all over the world, by Americans, by some Europeans. I got sympathy elsewhere. But what I did paled in insignificance of what I've seen other people have been doing. What is happening now in the world, what is in Europe now, you need decisive action, you need to overkill. That's the reason what I agree entirely with Deputy Prime Minister of Turkey. You need to inspire confidence. That confidence must come in decisive action of government, working together and do it quickly. Maybe 2 months ago you can deal with, case of Greece, you can deal with, settle it with a 30% haircut. Now, even 50% is not easy. It's not easy to settle. 70% maybe is out of the books as well. So do it quickly. And you need resolution and need decisiveness. The second thing we have discovered is when we dealt with the Asian financial crisis, we dealt with the institutional issue. We sought out the bank, we sought out the banks, we sought out the intermediary, the stock markets, the exchanges, the regulatory regimes, and so on. We have forgotten the people. There are 5 years of painful deleveraging which took place in Hong Kong. Assets were depreciated to the extent of 60%. Somebody owned a home used to be $5 million, and suddenly it discovers it's only valued about $2 million. Negative assets was a very widespread issue. Immediately your pessimism pervades the society, and you have serious problem in your hand. In other words, you need to have quick fix. In the case of this, I think we have to look at not only the funding of banks, you must look at the SMEs. We did very well in 2008. We maintained jobs. We secured the firms because we underwrote all the loans to the banks. We guarantee all the banks continue lending to your SMEs with a good reputation, good track record, and making sure they're able to survive. And they did. And at the end of the day, the default rate is almost zero. As a government, I didn't put up anything. I just give them all for the opportunity to do this thing. And then you must help the poor, making sure they see through life. Help them reschedule their loan, their mortgages, making sure they're able to pay their electric bills and so on and so forth. So we have got an incentive package valued at more or less 6 or 7% of our GDP over a period of 2 or 3 years. We have got the money to do it. But even you don't have the money to do it, find the money to do it, making sure the grassroots is at ease and they have the jobs ready for them. And for that reason, you then have again confidence there, and you have domestic consumption going. So while we are dealing with all these macro issues, the rebalancing of the economy, the prudential supervision, all the things you need to do with the banks and so on, must make sure at the end of the day, 2012 is a critical year. If you can't get through it, the rebalancing, the effect of that will come through after that 2012, almost in 2 years after that. You have to get through 2012, and remember, you have to deal with the people. This is where we serve. That's what public service is all about.